The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is July 24th, 2019, episode 149, and this week, Church Wishlist and Zombie Eating. My name's Basil.
And this is Gonz. Welcome to the podcast where we talk about prophetic news with Canary Cry views. Trying that one out. See how that one ends.
I love how the catchphrase keeps evolving.
It evolves slowly, and we'll find something eventually.
We got to keep up with the times, man. You can't stay stagnant around here. Yeah. Things change every day.
Yeah, we're in a season of change all the time.
That's right. And speaking of which, Gonz, it's October is coming closer.
Yes.
Closer.
Yes, real quick. October 11th, or actually, what is it? The 10th through the 13th of 2019. Disclosure on the Coast. Prophecy unveiled. They're going to do a prophecy conference in my neck of the woods, Basil. Irvine, California, where I grew up. So
it's so close. You won't have to fly anywhere.
I won't have to fly. I can sleep in my own bed, home cooking, home court advantage. It'll be all the great stuff that I'll have at the conference there. But join us. Go to hearthewatchman.com and you can get all the information there. And the one question we always get is it going to be live streamed? And the answer is yes. And if you use the promo code GONZ20, all one word, GONZ20, I think you get a little discount from your purchase, either a physical ticket or the online streaming. So
nice.
Hearthewatchman.com for all the information for Disclosure on the Coast Prophecy Unveiled. I'm pumped. We'll get to see Paul McGuire, L.A. Marzulli, Derek Gilbert, Russ Dizdar, Carl Tykrib, Josh Peck will be there.
Yeah, I should probably go to this one. I think I mentioned it before. This sounds like I need to get in there, use a good discount code.
Yeah, use the discount code.
Get in and do some secret shows, some secret live podcasts.
Yeah, maybe I'll have like a staged Q&A section for an audience member, just one audience member, and then I'll pick you.
And then I'll and then it just turns into a 2-hour conversation.
And we just start podcasting.
I'll bring news talk. I'll bring articles with me.
Yeah.
As just I'll have my beard on. I'll have my sunglasses.
You bring a suitcase.
Big mullet. Yeah. Big mullet wig. And then I'll just happen to be an audience member who brought some articles, and then we'll just do a whole show.
There you go.
It'll be, I was going to say, I know we all remember when I got disbarred from the conference. Oh man, that was a while ago, maybe 5 years ago.
Yeah, a little bit of criticism of your personage.
I wasn't taking it seriously, man.
No, not enough.
Serious business. So now I have to hold secret shows, secret events at these.
Yeah, I have to sneak you in. I have to risk my name
to buy tickets for. Yeah. Okay, Gonz, are you ready to get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. And just real quick, today, the big Mueller hearing has been happening, and we have our deep 4-second analysis to keep you guys updated on all that's going on with the Mueller hearing.
Can't wait.
I know this is outside my purview.
There you go. That's all you need to know from the hearing today.
That's about what it's been. Yeah, that's about sums it up.
Yep.
Okay, Gonz, are you ready for the Flippy Update?
Flippy Update.
Do you want fries with that?
Okay, this one is a Flippy that we've seen Flippy in this industry before, the food industry, but there's a little detail here that I think is important we bring up. This article is from thespoon.tech. Which is a cool name for a website.
About food, maybe? Yeah. A food website.
Yes, it's a food website. Connected Robotics raises 850 million yen to expand its food robot lineup. Connected Robotics, the Tokyo-based startup that makes food robots, announced yesterday that it has raised 850 million yen. That's about $8 million USD. Series A funding round. So that's a big deal for companies. The round was led by the Global Brain Corporation.
Really?
That's right.
Really, the Global
Brain Corporation.
That's not a misspoken thing by you. That's the actual.
That is the actual name of a real company that is going to be making or is funding.
Yeah, it's funding
the creation of a food robot army, which will be the first line of defense in the battle against robots and humans. With participation from 31 Ventures, also a very famous investment company, Global Innovation Fund, U-Tokyo Innovation Platform Co., Ltd., Sony Innovation Fund, and 500 Startups JP LLC. This brings the total amount raised by Connected Robotics to 950 million yen, which is 8.73 million USD. So that's right. And just for a little bit of background on Connected Robotics, they currently have 2 food robots, the Octo Chef, which makes fried octopus balls known as tokiyaki. And, Octo Chef really made me think that this was going to be 8 robot arms. Oh, hi, Cat.
Oh, yeah.
8 robot arms, but it's not.
No.
It just makes octopus balls.
So the thing about the tokoyaki, when you make them, it's very interesting because it's you have to have this highly trained hand, very steady hand, if you will,
yes,
to flip them in the little bowl things that you make them in.
Yes.
And it's not the easiest thing to do. I don't know if you've ever done it before, but
it takes a trained AI.
Yeah, they start training little first and second graders with that to learn how to flip that stuff.
Really?
Yeah. Because it's hard to do. Like it can totally fall apart if you don't do it right. So
well, that's good to know.
Yeah, there you go.
Octopus balls. They eat a lot of octopus over there. And tokiyaki is a popular street food in Japan. And the Rita robot, which serves up soft serve ice cream. With the new money, Connected Robotics will accelerate research and development of new products. Its automated dishwasher robot, a hot snacks robot for convenience stores, and an automatic breakfast cooking robot dubbed Lorraine.
Lorraine.
Oh, Lorraine. I
Wow.
must get you, Lorraine. I would love a breakfast cooking robot. But that's all for the Flippy Update. Global Brain Company coming to a kitchen near you.
I was flabbergasted when I saw that.
Yeah.
I didn't think that was a real thing. Like, it can't be
No.
real.
Well, I mean, we got to look more into Global Brain Company. It's either a couple of goofballs like us who have like way too much money to play with, or
We don't have enough money to play with. What are you talking about?
no, I'm saying a couple of goofballs like us, and unlike us, they have a bunch of money to
There you
play
go.
with.
There you go. Yeah, that's possible. Sure.
They're living the dream.
Yep.
Are you ready to become cyborg?
I am.
You are. This is studyfinds.org. Research in a nutshell. Kind of nice. Zombie eating. 88% of adults dine while staring at a screen, survey finds.
Now, if you're anything like me, people, when you first heard that zombie eating 88% adults dying while staring at screen, it sounds like 88% of adults are staring at a screen and getting eaten by zombies.
Or croaking over somehow.
That's
the
what
mind
I
control
thought. This
fries
was.
the brain. No, this is dining like eating.
Yeah,
That's why they call it
dine.
zombie eating. Yeah, dine, like a diner. So many of us spend a great deal of time each day staring at screens, from computer desktops at work to smartphones or TV during our free time. The average American is spending more time staring at a screen than ever before. Now, a new survey of 2,000 adults has found that a whopping 88% are so-called zombie eaters who stare at some type of screen while eating. The survey, commissioned by Pretzel Crisps, aimed to shed some light on American eating habits. The results indicate that Americans are so glued to their screens, they rarely stop staring even to eat. In fact, the average U.S. eater will stare at their phone twice over the course of any given meal and will only have 5 screen-free meals per week. It's clear from the survey's finding that zombie eating is an almost universal practice in today's culture. 91% respondents reported watching television while eating a meal or snack, and 49% say they watch TV while eating on a regular basis. Evidently, many people are very picky about what they watch while eating as well, with 83% of respondents reporting that they've had food go cold while they deliberate on what to watch. Sometimes,
that's very funny.
Yeah. Sometimes whatever's on the screen takes precedence over the food that is right in front of us. 86% of respondents say they've even forgotten to eat their meal because they were preoccupied by a screen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, Gons.
Yeah.
This is interesting because at first, when I was reading this, was like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. I don't do that. And then I was just thinking back,
to this morning, and
I had to do some self-reflection. I was like, "Oh my gosh, I definitely do this." But here's the thing: first of all, do you do this? Are you a screen eater?
Yeah, I think, it depends on the situation, but yeah.
But here's the thing: I live in an apartment alone, and when I think of somebody living in an apartment alone, eating a meal, watching TV, seems totally normal. When you think of me cooking a meal, sitting down quietly alone at my dining table and like silently staring forward and eating a meal, it's like
that's
some serial killer stuff.
That's like what's going on in his mind.
To think about.
Yeah, that's true. You're right. That is true. It's almost as if you're not staring at the screen, you're weirder. Yeah.
It's like you are a real creeper. Something is wrong if you are not watching something.
I don't think it's that different from the old Papa, reading the newspaper while eating breakfast or something like that. It's just an evolution of that. But at the same time,
at least not like on a phone. If you're on your phone doing something, that's basically the newspaper now.
Right. But then you think back even further. I guess it all depends on if you're living alone. I guess living alone wasn't even that much of a thing.
I guess that's a fairly recent phenomenon for people my age.
Yeah.
Because I was like, and it's especially unsettling for young people. Like, it's one thing for an old man, it's just sitting eating his bagel, thinking back on a rich life he's lived, maybe working through some regrets or just pondering the love that he's had in his life. But for a young man. Full of vibrance in life, to just be sitting quietly with only the noise of his fork and knife scratching against the plate, with two cats circling around and just silently eating, it creeps me out, man.
But I will say though, there is, depending on what you do as an occupation and whatever, there is some escape in that by itself. Like maybe you work on computers all day long and you just want to get home, you just want to eat your meal and you don't want any distractions.
Look, I'm not saying I'm right. I'm just saying I'm creeped out. But I get it. Quiet time and alone time is very important.
Yeah.
But there's something about the eating part that is just...
I think the detrimental aspect of this is that families that should be, talking to each other are instead staring at screens. And that's part of the problem here. Is not so much necessarily that if you live alone, you're staring at an iPhone while you eat. It's although I was surprised the 83% saying their food goes cold while figuring out what to watch. I mean, just pick something, man. Come on,
that's definitely
just come on. 83% of people of the 2,000 surveyed are that.
It's the new version of like, there's 2,000 channels and nothing on.
Yeah. I heard a good joke about that, by the way.
I bet.
Pertaining
was it
to
something similar to exactly what I just said?
Kind of, but it was more pertaining to a comparison with women complaining that they don't have anything to wear.
Well, yeah, that's true. We're all the same, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Moving on from this.
That.
While everybody's...
Cause I'm DNA.
Sorry, I cut you off there. What were you saying?
No, that's okay. Just everybody's picturing me sitting alone at a dining room table.
It depends on how you eat too. Like if you're hungry, you're eating, it's like whatever. But then if you're like very meticulously cutting your food and slowly
Yeah, I went. This happened a couple years ago. I went over to my friend's house, and they have a roommate, and this guy, he's a young man. I come into the house, and my friend isn't there, and it's just the roommate who I don't know very well, and he is
awkward.
just. Yeah, and he is just sitting at the dining room table. All the lights in the house are off except the dining room light. And he's sitting at the head of the table with just like a beautifully prepared steak and like asparagus and a glass of wine. And he's just silently eating.
And you walked in on him?
Yeah, and I walked in on him like, I'm not supposed to see this. I'm so sorry. You are obviously doing something very sacred that I don't belong here.
Again,
Just promptly said, I'm sorry, and turned around and walked out of the house.
Poor guy. Probably like, what was that all about?
It's like, dang it.
I can't even get random people to stay. Probably what he was thinking.
He probably had plans for a guest to come over, and that makes it even more sad. Okay, moving on. DNA, baby. This is bigthink.com. Read a Harvard geneticist's plan for redesigning humans.
Yay.
That's right. Get our little bit of transhumanist news here. Would you improve humanity if you could? Many of us have opinions about how we can boost up society and the government. Weird thing to say in an article about
Big Think.
DNA. But what about just re-engineering the people themselves to make them more advanced physically and intellectually? Would better bodies lead to better people? One person who can turn such musings into reality is George Church, the Harvard genetics professor famous for trying to resurrect the woolly mammoths. I remember that when I was younger. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah.
So young, so naive.
So impressionable to the transhumanist agenda.
You know, it was the time of Jurassic Park. He was making dreams come true.
True.
Among many other accomplishments, Church also made a list of genes that could be targeted through genetic manipulation for the purpose of designing a new version of humans. In an interview with Futurism, the professor explained that one purpose of assembling such a list is in giving correct information to the people. It has been his long-term mission to drive down the costs of genetics resources. To that end, the list includes both protective and negative consequences of hacking a particular gene. Notice how he said protective and not enhancing.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Sleight of word.
Yeah. Quote, I felt that both ends of the phenotype spectrum should be useful, Church elaborated, and the protective end might yield more powerful medicines useful for more people and hence less expensive. Here are some selections from the so-called transhumanist wish list. Drawing upon the philosophical movement of transhumanism that calls for using technology to enhance human physiology and intellect, leading to a transformation of what it means to be human. Here's the list. This is just about 6 or so. The list is significantly longer, but here's the ones that they highlight. So these are different types of genes. LRP5. Hacking this gene could give people extra strong bones, as research has shown a mutation of LRP5 can lead to bones that don't break.
Wow.
The tweak might make it hard to swim, however, as denser bones also mean lower buoyancy.
There you go.
So we won't break bones, but we're all going to drown in the bathtub.
You know, they're probably like, well, God promised he's never going to flood the earth again.
Oh, true that.
There you go.
That's how they get you.
Yep.
MSTN, messing with the myostatin protein, could result in larger, leaner muscles and cure such diseases as muscular dystrophy. Notice how they don't put a negative there. Just bigger, stronger boys and healing muscular dystrophy. Sounds great. I mean, Gons, you could rule the basketball court. Although if we combined the MSTN
with the LRP5, the bones,
yes, you could potentially be a great swimmer, but you might sink.
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe, yeah. This one's funny. Far out. FAAH-OUT. The amusingly named far out gene mutation was linked to insensitivity to pain. Wouldn't you like to have such a super ability?
Not really.
What a weird sentence.
That is a super weird sentence because pain sensitivity is kind of what allows us to go around and like know what to touch, what not to touch.
It's a very important signal.
Very important. I think Ravi Zacharias or somebody had talked about a person who was born with that. I guess it's a disorder where they couldn't feel pain, and the parents were praying that the child can feel pain, which is a weird thing. But it's I mean, I guess if you can control it, but even
it's good for super soldiers.
It is good for super soldiers.
An average human.
Yeah, but even if you're dying, you're not going to feel it, right? No pain.
And notice how they didn't talk about any medicinal purposes for this. They just went straight to, wouldn't you like to have such a super ability? Which is like an AI trying to
persuade the masses.
Convince you of something.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
Okay, moving on. ABCC11 modifying this gene could really pay off socially as it's been linked to low odor production. Currently, only 2% of the people in the world carry the mutated version, which helps their armpits not produce any unpleasant smells. And Gons?
Yeah.
You're in the 2%, my friend.
I believe I might be. I don't have any official documentation to prove one way or disprove that I have this mutation.
23andMe?
But I have been known to not use deodorant and needing to because I don't really produce odor from the armpit region.
Superior genetics.
I can offer myself, take my ABCC11 gene. No,
maybe you were created by the government.
Okay. Let's just go there.
I figured it out, people. Connecting the dots. Okay.
That's my giveaway. Unsmelly armpits.
Exactly. That's how you can tell the government agents. The next one is PCSK9. People who lack this gene have very low levels of cholesterol. Tweaking it could lead fighting off coronary disease. On the other hand, the negatives could include a rise in diabetes and even reduce cognition. Yep, not worth it. Not as good as the ABCC11 people.
No, not at all. Okay, that one's no good.
Grin2B, this one's called. Playing with this gene can lead to enhancing memory and learning abilities. Okay, yeah, good. That's the end of that one.
Yep.
BDK. What's up, BDK? BDK-RB2. Figuring out how to affect this gene can lead to people who can hold their breath underwater for much longer. It figures prominently in the abilities of the indigenous Bahua people, Bahahu people, sea nomads of Southeast Asia who are known for amazing feats of deep diving. So you combine BDK-RB2 with LRP5,
and then
you've got people who can sink to the bottom of a river and just walk around and be fine.
Until they have to breathe again.
Yeah, well.
Well, they're not telling us about the gene editing that gives them gills, and stuff like that.
That's true. And so then after this list, they show a picture I can really only describe as maniacal of this scientist.
Yeah, the fish eye lens didn't help in making this guy look...
a sort of maniacally benign patriarch is what this scientist looks like.
Yeah, George Church, the genetics professor at Harvard.
That's right.
Showing off his MAGE device. That's back in 2012. Yeah, that's what it says. Interesting.
All right, I think we got time for one more.
Yeah, we do.
Did you ever have the feeling that you were being watched?
Mindmatters.ai. The internet doesn't free anybody by itself. And we've known about the surveillance state of China. This article, we won't get through all of it, but I'll just read some of it because I think the details were kind of startling if you look at it.
Yeah, and if we don't finish it, we'll finish it in the extended report available on patreon.com/CCNT.
There you go. The Uyghur people in Xinjiang province in northwest China spend their lives in a digital panopticon. Over 2.5 million Muslims are tracked via facial recognition software and cameras, and their cell phone monitored for any language that could be construed as religious. Over 1 million have been placed in so-called vocational training centers that are widely described as detention camps. Even when not detained, they live like prisoners. Quote, for Uyghurs in Xinjiang, any kind of contact from a non-Chinese phone number, though not officially illegal, can result in instant arrest. Most Uyghurs in Turkey have been deleted by their families on social media, and many wouldn't dare to try to make contact for fear Chinese authorities would punish their relatives, end quote. Xinjiang is considered, quote, one of the most tightly controlled surveillance states in the world, according to Wired. Everyone living in the province is under high-tech surveillance, which includes 100% camera coverage of the capital Urumqi.
That's crazy. 100%.
Under current Chinese President Xi Jinping, the government's main target is the Uyghur people, although other religious minorities as well as Han Chinese live in the region. The Uyghur, I think I'm saying that right, Uyghur?
Yeah, you're good.
Are a
Just
predominantly,
say it with confidence, it'll sound better.
The Uyghur are a predominantly Muslim ethnic minority that makes up about half of the population. Since the Chinese Communist Party's takeover of the region in 1949, the Uyghurs have had a tumultuous relationship with the police and with the Han Chinese. The government began to use high tech to control them in response to riots triggered by news of attack in the Guangdong province online. Quote, in 2009, bloody ethnic riots broke out between Uyghurs and Han Chinese in Urumqi, the Xinjiang capital. Police put the city on lockdown, enforcing an internet blackout and cutting cell phone service. It was the beginning of a new policy to control the Uyghur population digitally, end quote. Tensions have been mounting for some time, and it goes through the tension there. As word of the incident spread on the internet, about 1,000 Uyghurs protested in Urumqi, and by 2013, about 1 million Uyghurs were on WeChat, the Chinese all-in-one social media app, but few of them were aware at the time that their conversations were being monitored. In May 2014, WeChat and rival apps were required to let the government monitor users to stamp out, quote, rumors and information leading to violence, terrorism, and pornography, end quote.
Wow.
One key government control is advanced facial recognition used by Chinese companies SenseTime and Megvii across the country for widespread surveillance. Quote, for China's government, the means not only being able to identify any of its 1.4 billion citizens within a matter of seconds, that means not only being able to identify any of its 1.4 billion citizens within a matter of seconds, but also having the ability to record an individual's behavior to predict who might become a threat, a real-world version of the pre-crime in Philip K. Dick's Minority Report. And the one last little thing here, the Chinese government initially denied tracking and detaining the Uyghurs. Then, in the face of evidence, it admitted using high-tech surveillance to monitor them and send people they believed to be radicals to vocational training centers, where an estimated 1 million Uyghurs and other Muslim minorities are being held.
Yeah.
So, wow, that is a lot of people being rounded up after being digitally tracked by the government.
100% camera surveillance in that city, Urumqi. And I mean, if a number that's not Chinese calls you, it's grounds for instant arrest.
Yeah,
that's intense.
I mean, what if you get spam calls?
That's what I'm saying,
You're
man.
done.
Those robocalls are gonna get you. But we're gonna finish this article. There's about half of it left, and it gets more intense. So if you want to listen to that, you can head over to patreon.com/CCNT. That's patreon.com/CCNT. We do an extended report every week. That's double the Canary Cry News Talk, and you get to support a show. We are completely listener supported. It's the only way we're able to keep going. So head over to patreon.com/CCNT. And if you got friends who are still getting their news from the traditional sources that are ruled by some unsavory characters, you need to let them know. You need to grab them by the face and shake them.
It's got to be biblical.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Stop this progress before it is too late.
Leave the bird alone. Never. That's right. Let them know that they can head over to Canary Cry News Talk and get the goods. Okay, everybody. Thanks for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until you do, think outside the cage. cat, leave me alone. I'm working.